it doesn't matter how big or small you are, the issues are still there, and they're just either magnified or a little less than, depending upon a variety of factors. So if I were to tell my younger self something, I would have told myself, go to where the opportunities are. Don't get intimidated by the size, because as long as you're authentic to yourself and you're leading with your heart and about what matters, you're going to be fine, because those students need somebody.
I have lots of friends who work in rural community colleges in Texas, though, who are facing some very unique challenges, primarily around enrollment declines. Just because of population shifts and things like that. And the funding mechanism in the state of Texas is it's tuition, it's contact hour reimbursement, and it's local tax base. So if your community is shrinking or your student population is shrinking, all three of those start to decline. So it becomes harder and harder and harder to create the same vitality, I think. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's facing the rural presidents in Texas right now.
Yeah.
Some of them are healthy, but some of them are really struggling.
Yeah.
And the legislature wants to fund on nothing but growth. Well, we have a little bit of performance funding. 10% of our funding is performance, but it's funded primarily on growth. But as a president, I have a lot of empathy for those presidents in those smaller places with their aging infrastructure and their faculty who are probably not new to their positions and therefore more expensive than the fresh out of college people, and all of the things that are probably stacking up against them. So I would think that there's a different kind of challenge in the rural schools right now.
So what about the differences with the external community? Small
Oh,
town,
yes.
small town politics, so to speak?
So
Right.
interesting, good question. So interestingly, you're right, with regard to small town, you know everyone, right? And I don't know if you're familiar with Warsaw, but it's the orthopedic capital of the world. So billion-dollar corporations are headquartered.
Did not know that.
Yeah, it's impressive. And so the CEOs of those companies just happen to have been living in Warsaw. So I knew these billion-dollar CEOs of impressive companies, just the most down-to-earth individuals. And then here, we're a massive community, but it's a small group of people that essentially are the same leaders that just happen to be on this. We are all on the same committees, doing the same sort of board work. It's
Biggest little town.
Yeah, it's a big small town. That's what I found very fascinating, because that was overwhelming too. My God, it's a massive community, and it's on this side of town and that side of town, but the players we're friends, and it's a small network.
So you can take some of those skills that you've learned navigating the external community of the small town.
Yes.
And it's almost the same sort of skill set you need.
The same
because
skill set.
relationship,
It's
right?
It's authentic relationship building, and I can tell you, my community partners are my friends. They're my friends. We have built relationships on just a fundamental, authentic relationship of just who are you, what do you like to do, and we hang out sometimes. So it's just, it's fundamental, basic stuff, right?
Right.
We have some big system challenges that I think are probably pretty typical of big systems, and they have to do with communication and sharing of resources and constant pressure to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.